Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. We'd like to welcome you to the show. We're talking about Black history. I'm your host, Cole Black, a.k.a. Vince Cole Muhammad, the author of the book Consequence. Go check it out. Soundtrack to this theme is on cdbaby.com/COLBLAC. Get the spaceship. Now, we all know that Donald Trump met with Omarosa. What's that? The pastor that's always speaking on his behalf, and they were speaking on how they love Donald Trump. And we understand that narrative because you did have some slaves who actually did love their slave master. So be it. But people have to understand that these are entertainers. As D.L. Hughley said, they're entertainers. And as Diamond and Silk, another Trump supporter, said that as entertainers, we pay you. When we tell you to bark, you bark. But the question is, why do we listen to and take advice from celebrities when that's their job, is to play a role? Even the pastors or preachers of today, they're celebrities. It's Hollywood. They do the job of a celebrity, and the people shouldn't look upon them as leaders when you have so many intelligent leaders that's out there, from scholars, mathematicians, scientists, Brother Farrakhan. You got so many great people out there for them that they can use as an example, as a direction to enhance or better their lives. But you choose to follow the advice or the guidance of a celebrity when a celebrity or an entertainer's role changes constantly. Then a constant change depending on what script they play. You even had some celebrities or entertainers that were actresses that will tell you that sometimes they suffer because they have a hard time of coming up out of their role. They get stuck in a role. It takes time to bring themselves back into reality. So a celebrity or an entertainer, that's the last person who you should take for guidance, because no matter what, at the end of the day, they flash enough cash in their face, then they'll go whichever way the wind blows. Whichever way that cash flows, that's the way they'll go. That's a fact. Now, Black History Month, I don't understand, and especially when you monitor Black history, well, let's say for me personally, since the late 70s, when I was in elementary school. And since that time, two great people, obviously, but Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks. That was it. And even up until 2017, Black history, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. And they might occasionally throw in Frederick Douglass. And over the recent years, they might slip in Malcolm X. That's it. What about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? What about Brother Farrakhan, who is still present to this day, that has knowledge that can that expanded the time of history to the present day? The things that has been accomplished. What about the 1995 Million Man March? That's not something that should be flashed on all networks, all pages, and people should talk about the greatness of that historic march. Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Businesses, mosques, newspapers, jet planes, hotels, raising up thousands with the word that connected to your inner being, and you knew it was true, and you knew that word was true. Yes, you did. That's why you can look back upon the accomplishments of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and you can see now that it was factual, mathematical, precise, right now until today's time. But we still have this veil over our eyes, or we still see subconsciously, not saying we, but a lot of us subconsciously still, and this is Black history, a lot of us subconsciously still see the white man as the slave master. So certain areas where people might feel that it might offend the slave master, they stay out of it, such as theology, such as going back and saying, wait a minute, I'm understanding that I'm looking at this, and a lot of the Bible seems to come from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Was it plagiarized? And black people, you don't touch that, it's going to anger whites. And it's not. The whole purpose of uncovering knowledge is it helps you to master yourself, or it helps the individual to become a better individual. You can't stunt your own growth in fear of what some boogeyman might not like for you to do. That's not reality. That's something that you have in your head, because the knowledge is out, and God favors knowledge. So you're gonna say that, well, I know you favor knowledge, God, but I'm more afraid of the image of the slave master in my head than I am of you. That's insane. Certain degrees or certain types of knowledge is critical to the advancement of a being. Meaning you can't be in 2017 with a jerry curl and think you're on time. Let's put it like that, because it's played out. So you don't want to be behind the time in your studying, or in things that you're trying to accomplish, or in the things that will be beneficial to us as a whole. You know, knowledge is definitely power, but the right knowledge. And with that right knowledge, then you can be a renewed person building on right knowledge, because what we've been building on in the past has been wrong knowledge. And that's why you see the community in certain situations the way it is, because we're building with the wrong math, the wrong mathematics. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad came to give you the right mathematics. That's why Brother Farrakhan, with that right mathematics, can have over 35,000 in Houston, Texas, prior to the Million Man March. Because we understand in Houston that knowledge is power, and we like to control our own destiny down here. You know, in the H-Town. You know, we don't like someone trying to give us our direction. We're saying we'll take the knowledge and then we'll build on it how we see fit, or what the Creator gave us a vision to do. But as the brother minister said, don't hamstring the camel. Don't hamstring us. We have to have the space to build outwardly from the inside. And that brings me to Steve Bannon, who is, Steve Bannon, I'm going to tell you who Steve Bannon is. If you ever watched the movie Shaka Zulu, and Shaka Zulu had this witch doctor that he come to, and she shares wisdom of future events that would occur, or they would shape the direction for future events, then that's Steve Bannon to Donald Trump. Every majority of all the presidents had one. You'd see them back in King Arthur days. They would call them Merlin. Some would call them witch doctors. Some would say soothsayers. Some would say advisors or spiritual advisor. I mean, they went by different titles, throughout the years. But basically, it's been stated that Bannon is brilliant. That's what they say. So Bannon's job is to have that inner vision for the direction of America to save a particular people of America. And that's his job, and that's why these things are being created, because the direction and the trust of the president is in the mind of Steve Bannon. So if you want to know which direction America is headed, then you go back and read some of Steve Bannon's work. You study Steve Bannon. That'll give you the inclination of the direction in which the country is being steered towards. They working together, creating. So basically, that's what that's about. Over the years, they went by so many different names, but the purpose is still the same. I guess is what I'm trying to get over. The purpose or the duty of their job. See, Obama had one that was right for him, and that's Reverend Wright, and he could have counseled with the minister, but they saw what Obama didn't see and made Obama get rid of who would have gave him strength, who would have been his Steve Bannon. Reverend Wright could have been Obama's Steve Bannon. But it's this something about trying to please white people. I don't know what that is, but it's something in the air about trying to do things to be judged through the eyes of white people, or the congratulations of doing a job that comes from white people to some black people is like a reward from heaven or something. I don't know what that is. You do things based on the mathematics, the science, or will the end result, like Neely Fuller says, will the end result be constructive? Or will the end result be non-constructive? So when you sit down at the table and you iron out your plans, that's the first question you ask. When I take this journey down this road to accomplish my goal, at the end of the accomplishment, will it be constructive for humanity or destructive? Will it be constructive or non-constructive, as Neely Fuller Jr. said? And I think that's one of the, when you break down consequence, that's breaking it down to its simplest form to where anybody can understand, and that's also part of the teaching. So I believe that in my heart the direction and actions that I take is constructive. And that's why I set out to do it. But along the lines, if you do something that someone didn't see or they didn't come up with it first, then sometimes people get bitter and they try to pull down your work, but it's just basically due to their lack of understanding. Because people are afraid or they fear what they don't know. So instead of letting the fear be the first reaction, that's a hint or a notion telling you to go do your research. Then make your assessment. Don't make your assessment out of emotions, because your emotions is not based on a logical evidence. Most times, your decision is based out of fear, which leads nowhere. So within this Black History Month on the second day, and we're gonna rev this thing up and get into more figures who played a special role in Black history, but a strong role, a mathematical role, and then we're trying to uncover why they had to do what they had to do at a particular time. Because you have to realize the burden that was placed upon a people that they call slaves, but that burden to carry that the weight of not knowing who you are, but knowing something deep down inside, something's not right. They calling me all these European names, but there's nothing about me that's European. They're giving me a version of the Bible that I can partially understand, but in my mind or in my genetic coding, I remember something that's more ancient than what they're giving me, and I see some similarities, but also I see something is off from the original. So, but now I want to go into these books and study, but everyone that I've seen who went and studied other than what was given to us by the slave master, everyone I've seen has been ridiculed and caught hell and, talked about, and that's among Black people. You have a lot of resistance. Don't study this. Don't read this. Don't look at that. Because what they're saying is all of that, all of this over here, knowledge itself and studying the Egyptian Book of the Dead and showing how the Bible was plagiarized from that, and finding out about the Moors and raising up the Europeans out of the Caucasus Mountains and giving them knowledge. All of that knowledge, push that to the side, because all of that offends white people. And if you want peace on earth, you can't offend white people because they will come after you. That's insane. Insane. Teach, learn, understand growth all within the individual, so the individual can master themselves. And then when you master yourself, all the actions that you do are constructive or for good. This is Verbal Pick Radio, and we're out.